Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 157. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Vin Clancy, a speaker, a coach, one of the most infamous marketers in the world, known for his cutting-edge growth hacks and genius business ideas. Vin teaches companies, founders, influencers, and marketing managers how to grow their companies through a combination of rapid social media growth and great community management tactics. Wow. Hello, Vinny.
Good day. I am here. It is nice to be here.
I know the clan is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my clan a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own online business?
Sure. So I never really had a job as such. I tried things like telesales, but I was always getting fired for not doing enough work. I found it difficult to fit in with the working world. And then I decided to start an internet business. I had a dream where the writers would be the stars, not musicians. And then I created a website called planetiv.com. I called up every college in the country and I got them to write for me. I said, I couldn't pay you, but you'll get editorial feedback and a platform that's bigger than your blog. And within 2 weeks, we had 25,000 visitors. Within 6 months, we had 300,000 visitors a month. And within a year, we had 1 million visitors a month. And, about 10 months in, I gave a talk at Google campus in London. And someone who had just left Facebook saw me. She wanted to be an advisor. She introduced us to 2 investors, and they gave us $250,000. And at that time, I was living on $100 a week on social welfare in the UK. So I got off welfare, and now I was no longer in debt, and I was an entrepreneur. So that was the start of it. So Planet Ivy got to 1 million visitors a month. We then launched a second site, Screen Robot, that got to 1 million visitors a month in 100 days. And we then got into Techstars, the business accelerator, ahead of 1,500 other teams. I then started a growth hacking agency, so I was marketing for other companies. I started public speaking. I won Best Speaker at South by Southwest V2V after 3 months. I worked with the royal family. Then I started a 100-day world tour in support of my first book. I spoke in 41 cities. That book did nearly $200,000 in revenue. And since then, I moved to the United States. I have the extraordinary ability visa. And right now, I'm sitting in Beverly Grove in Los Angeles.
Wow, talk about fairy tale. Is that a fairy tale life? Wow, what a journey, what a background, Vinny. Okay, now you have been in business for the last 5 years. What is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
The most dangerous belief an entrepreneur can have is that they're doing well or that they've made it. The hustle never stops. Just because you've made it from 0 to 5 figures so you can pay your bills doesn't mean you're going to make it to 6 figures, doesn't mean you're going to make it to high 6 figures. The work never stops. You've got to be smart and hire people. But one thing I see even out here in America is a lot of ego and people not listening. They say pride comes before a fall. That's like the emotional level. On the business level, all business problems can be cured by being great at sales. You can get away with a lot. So as long as you're good at sales and you focus on that rather than, social media or content or brand or anything like that, you'll always do well in business. So I think those two things, being able to do sales while keeping an eye on your ego.
Okay, I know you said you are on the welfare, you left the 9 to 5 world, but why do you do what you do?
That's a really good question. I believe it to be the best thing for me to be doing right now. My lifetime dream was to live and work in America, and I am doing that now. So, yeah, so I believe I'm in the right position. I have innate abilities in writing and speaking, so I tend to build businesses around those ideas. And yeah, I don't particularly hate it. I don't particularly find it stressful like many people who do businesses. Like I have to keep an eye on burnout, but yeah, like up to this point, I definitely am doing what is the right thing for me to do.
Let's put man aside. How do you know you are successful?
That's a really good question. I would never say I've made it. I don't think up to this point. I'm still working and hustling to get there. I would say I've had successes, but and I'm a successful person, and certainly from the outside looking in, people would say I'm super successful, but I don't feel it myself, and I think that's a good position to be in. You should always be the student. You know, you should never be the master. There should always be more that you need to achieve.
Can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some people more cut out for it than others?
Huh. You have better questions than most of the people who interview me, by the way.
Thank
Um,
you.
do I think most people should be entrepreneurs? I don't know. It's such a good question. I think anyone can be an entrepreneur. Like with my new book, Ace the Game, there's so many methods you can use to get traffic and get customers that I can pretty much pick anyone off the street and have them making a 5-figure salary and then a 6-figure salary within a year if they work hard. I don't think it's possible for anyone, but sometimes I see people and I feel like they could be doing entertainment rather than growing a business because it's very hard to be both an entertainer and a business person. But loosely, I think everyone can. And in the future, I think everyone will have to as more and more jobs get automated away. Um, Everyone will have to be an entrepreneur. Everyone will have to be a hustler because the jobs for life are gone. You know, millennials now will have 10 different careers in a lifetime, not jobs, 10 different complete careers. So you have to be an entrepreneur and a hustler to survive.
But how comes some of the entrepreneurs really succeed and others fail? Do you think it is lack of discipline?
Yeah, that's a good part of it. I've been reading a lot about biohacking at the moment, and they talk about the value of getting a good night's uninterrupted sleep because that's your underlying layer of willpower. And then that will feed into everything else. If you have willpower, you can eat healthier, you can exercise, you can make healthy decisions, you can focus. So discipline is a big part of it. And also sacrifice. I think a lot of people starting out don't realize the sacrifice that's required to be successful. And people often play it off and be like, well, look, I don't want to be a millionaire. You know, I'm just happy to pay my bills. It's hard to pay your bills as an entrepreneur. Like, it's underrated how hard it is, especially if you don't have the right growth hacks and techniques. It's hard to even like 30K a month, 30K a year as an entrepreneur if you don't have a basic discipline, if you don't have a product or service people want. That's a common problem that I see. So yeah, discipline is a big part of it. The ability to sacrifice other things for your work, and the ability to be positive and not let toxic influences in your life, such as people or drugs or alcohol or negative news and politics.
Okay, what have you learned from business as a whole?
So I have learned that it's really hard to make it. In fact, the deeper I get into it, the harder I realize it is, unless you have the secret techniques, like the likes that I put in Ace the Game, my new book. So without those techniques, business is really hard because people do what Dan Kennedy calls marketing incest, which is people just copy what other people are doing without really understanding it. And so they mutate an idea, and then someone copies them, and then at each level it mutates a bit more, and then it just doesn't work, like incest. So a lot of people don't understand that there's a lot more going on beneath the surface than what they see. So that's a big thing people don't understand, and that's a major thing I've learned. You have to get rid of bias and try not to be wrong as much as possible.
Okay, in your 5 years, have you had any mentors or coaches in your business?
Yeah, I mean that's probably the one thing that I probably could have changed to go a bit faster. But yeah, I've had mentors since late 2016. People like Dan Meredith. He was the first person who really took my coaching business to a six-figure level very quickly. And he sort of guided me through growing my Facebook group. A few other part-time mentors, Gallant Dill, Colin Terriot. I have a mentor now on a major project. So I definitely think that's the difference. And because before then, though I was making money, I wasn't really investing in myself. I now have performance coaches, accountability coach, physical therapy coach. So these things improve you, and it's a bit arrogant not to have coaches. By not having coaches and mentors, what you're saying is, I am the best I will ever be. I cannot get any better. I am perfect. That's really what you're saying when you say no to being a mentor, so saying no to having mentors and coaches. You're saying, I've reached the top level. I can't get any better. You look at the best in the world, they all have a ton of mentors and coaches. So it's a good idea for you to have. You can't see your own spelling mistakes. You can't see your own errors. So mentors help with that. And now I also mentor other people as well, so I pay it forward.
What is the most valuable thing your coaches or mentors has told you?
One of my coaches said, if you don't have the PayPal button on your website, you are an effing idiot. And for this book launch, like 44% of our sales have come from PayPal. And we very easily could have just not put that button on. But it's made such a major difference. So like that thing specifically, there's many different things I take and that add on. One of my other mentors taught me you should be posting to social media 3 or 4 times a day. Always include a picture, always end each post with a question to start the comments. It's simple, but super powerful. So there's like 100 different little things like that have added up to me being where I am now.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
One thing that's contributed to my success is having a long-term vision to live and work in America. That's really been my why, and that's got me through my hard times, that I've always wanted to be out here. And because of that, it's never really been possible for me to quit. It's literally not an option, no matter how things get. I've always been able to carry that through, and now I'm working on a project that's really challenging and really inspiring me in America. So I'm a big fan of having a strong why, and it can never be I want to make money. That's every project I've taken on where it's been purely money has not worked out. But when there's been a why, when it's been connected with my deeper focus, it's gone a bit better. If you're at the start of your journey, that's going to sound like a crazy thing to say. Maybe it's something you can only understand once you've been through it.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
That's a good question. I think no matter how many times I say it, I don't think people understand the amount of hours I put in. I'm not saying that to be a hero, to work a lot of hours is a good thing. You should have a team doing all your work for you, and I do have a team around the world working for me. But sometimes you have to give out an image that you're having fun and partying in Hollywood like I do, but I just, because there's many days where I just don't see another human. I just work all day, and that's 3, 4, 5 days a week sometimes. People, I just wonder how many people are really living that way, who really want it as bad as me. I don't think there's many. When I moved to London, someone said, whatever you're trying to do here, there's someone trying 15 times harder. And that really blew my mind. And I think it's true, wherever you're working, whatever you're trying to do. So that has to be your benchmark for how hard you have to work.
What grounds you?
What grounds me is never having made it. So like never being at the point where I'm like, wow, I'm done, I'm set, I can take my foot off the gas. Going from a life where, I lived my entire life with no money. Like I did a radio interview yesterday, and someone invited me on a trip, and it's like, we're going to the Ritz-Carlton, not the Hilton. And I said, I've never stayed at either. And then he was like, what? Until about 3 years ago, I was living on nothing. So I guess I'm lucky with that, because I'll always be humble. I'll never be brash spending my money, because I was so poor until very recently. And now I suddenly have this money, but I won't waste it, because I know what it's like to be at the start of the journey.
Oh, in your introduction, you mentioned about the royal family, and how did you get connected?
So I was approached to, Prince Andrew does a series called Pitch at Palace, where he helps new startups from Europe, get seen on a bigger stage. So him and his team mentor them, and they brought me in to give a talk and mentor some of the teams and help them with the competition. So I gave a talk at Imperial College, a very posh place. I met Prince Andrew there, told him what I was working on. Then I got invited to St. James's Palace, which is the second poshest building in the UK after Buckingham Palace. And there, other members of the royal family were there. I met Princess Fergie, Princess Beatrice. I was trying to see what to speak to her about. There was nothing about her on Google. It's kind of amazing. I wonder if there'd been like a third wall where the journalists wouldn't write about Princess Beatrice. Anyway, so I spoke to her, and I gave her my business card, and then I asked for her email so we could carry on talking, and then she said she would email me, and she didn't. So
you would expect that.
It will be no royal.
Expect that, or did you think, okay, she might say hello?
That was the hope. That would have been a good thing for my life, but no.
Oh, okay, wow. I was surprised. I was like, what were you doing with the royal family? Okay, thank you for sharing. We won't go deeper into that. Okay, let's talk about your new book. The S is the Game, and why did you call the S is the Game?
So it's important. Business can seem real stressful, but I believe it's important to see it as a game. And in that sense, what's in this book will enable you to ace the game and create wealth for yourself using these secret strategies. So by calling it Ace the Game, it's a manual where you can ace, where you can be the best at what it is you do.
Why should someone read this book? Because Vinny, the Amazon is full of books and all the entrepreneurs. So why do we need this book, and how is it going to help us, newcomers or starters, or somebody, even if someone has been in business for a long time, why should they pick this book up?
Hey, it's a good question. The thing is, most marketing and business books are very bad. They're written by people who copy and paste information off Google. They're written by people who have not had previous business successes. They run a small coaching firm, and that's about it. So this book is the best strategies from the people working for the fastest growing companies in the world right now. It's not even me saying, here are these strategies, I invented them, they're great. There's like 40 different contributors and like 50 different pieces of software that can massively help you grow your business. Things like hidden secrets like Rebump. If you email someone and they do not get back to you, Rebump will automatically send them a reminder email every 24 hours forever. Things like a automated system, so when someone lands on your website, this software finds their name, their business, their email address, and starts to email them for you to convert more leads. So there's hundreds of different pieces of software and hundreds of different pieces of ideas in here. How to find anyone's email address, how to generate traffic, how to convert your traffic better. And these secrets have never been put together like this. Many of them are completely secret and have never been revealed, to the public at large so far. So these are the things people use the same way Facebook, Uber, Dropbox, they grew massive without traditional marketing spend. These are the tactics these companies use, and now you can use them for your small business. So basically, you don't have to spend a lot of money to do marketing. Once you have the techniques in Ace the Game, you can have them. When you go to acethegame.com and grab the package, you get the ebook, the video course, and a ton of bonuses, including the Ultimate Influencers Guide, blogs that you can write on, 5,000 podcasts you can be featured on. So that's a ton of different areas that you can focus on, so you grow your business massively in the next 3 to 6 months.
Who's this book for? When you are writing and asking the contributors, who did you have in mind? Who did you design it for?
Startup founders, early stage entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, and marketing people.
What do you think the big problem modern business owners face, and how does your book help them solve?
Well, there's a couple of them. Firstly, there's a lot of bad information out there. So there's a lot of people feel paralyzed by the amount of information they have. So this enables you to show you only what's best and only the things that are most likely to work. So this cuts down. You don't have to spend time looking at blogs, reading random emails, looking in random Facebook groups. So it's a major problem that people don't know what to do. Like, this information has never been curated together to create a massive competitive advantage. So this is the first time these have been curated in a way like this. And I think that solves the biggest problem, which is people just don't know what to do. If they knew what to do, if they knew how to get traffic and sales, they would have zero problems. But they don't, and that's why this book exists.
Okay, where can we find it? How can we get in contact with you?
Yeah, so you can get it at acethegame.com, acethegame.com. I'm Vin Clancy. You can find me on YouTube and Facebook. But once you join Ace the Game, there's a private members club included when you purchase the package. And me and my team are in there, so we can answer all of your growth questions in real time.
Okay, thank you. So, Clan, there will be more from Vin in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcast platforms rather than my website, and you are encouraged by Vin's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a bonus portion of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan, and you can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part 2 of Vinny's journey or over 100 other journeys that are available, and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Vinny.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.